Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Horror 421, the podcast, with your hosts, special effects makeup artist supreme, Elena Morales, and your friendly small-town horror author, Charles Campbell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the frights in this week's episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Horror 421, the podcast. I am your host, Charles Campbell, small-town horror author, and with me I have my beautiful and talented co-host, Elena Morales.
Hello.
And today we have a very special guest. We've been trying to get him for a little while. He's agreed to join the show today, so I am here to introduce John Wayne Comunale. Thank you for being on the show, sir.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Good morning to you.
Well, we're excited to have you here today. And, I didn't know much about your library before I started doing a little research, and you've got quite a few books out there. And I was fortunate enough to read one of them so far. It won't be the only book that I read, but the book that I have read is called Sinkhole, and it's amazing. So I would definitely recommend it. And Elena has a handful of your other books if she wants to show those.
Your newest one, Cadillac Man.
Heck yeah.
We have Mage of the Hellmouth.
Nice.
Sinkhole, and then As Seen on TV.
Very
also,
cool.
beautiful concept for this book. This is probably one of my favorite ones. I don't know. I really love this character.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much. That one, actually is kind of divisive because people are like, oh, I thought that he was going to kill people with As Seen on TV, things. And I'm like, no, it's about obsession and all this stuff. And so that's cool. I'm glad you like it. Thanks.
His OCD was really funny, and then he's just cleaning with these As Seen on TV products. But the first kill is perfect. She was such a dick to him, and then bam, he murders her. It's awesome.
And we almost did it again. See, this will be the second time we've done this.
Already done it.
I forget to introduce
I have been forgotten.
We have forgotten Dustin Lee. So, Dustin, introduce yourself, bud.
I'm Dustin. I'm just a wallflower with this podcast. I just sit back and occasionally talk.
He's our pop-up host.
Right, yeah. I just come here every once in a while.
Come in with the hot goss or the good actually this you're like my fact checker and shit.
Yeah, I'm just here to correct all of this.
He's just it's all
the Wikipedia search.
He's just here to get gotcha moments on all of us. I gotcha.
No, dumbass, that's not the director.
Yeah, I had to stop a cougar from jumping on him from a previous podcast. She was kind of...
By the way, I'll cut you, so I'm just saying. Just saying.
Ooh, damn, dude. Got spicy. Cougar's up in here. Shit.
Yeah, she's a little smitten with him, so I had to water her down. Say, no,
we have some fan mail coming in.
That's right. All right. Well,
occupational hazard. I understand.
That's right.
Basically, someone's got to do it,
Well, we'll kind of jump right into it, John Wayne.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'd like to hear a little background of how you got into writing and how you became an author. How long have you been doing this? I'm an author myself, so I'm always interested to hear other authors and how they started their writing journey.
Well, I guess I've been writing all my life. Writing is one of the few things I was really good. I'm actually really only good at being disciplined, I think. When I say I'm going to do this, I'll do it,
Right.
But writing and music and drawing were the three things I was really had a handle on, I guess. And I just loved to write. I would write stories as a kid, just wrote. And then I get a little older and I was like, well, fuck this. I'm going to be a rock star, So I'm just doing the band thing for a while. And I was going to school. I went to college to Sam Houston State University. Eat 'em up, cats, meow, out in good old Huntsville, Texas. And I was just basically, my mom was like, "You're going to school," and I was like, "Whatever, mom." And I just was playing gigs and failing every single class because I didn't give a fuck. But then she made me go back the second semester, and I was like, "Whatever, I guess I'll try." And this professor came into one of my English classes. His name was Dr. Paul Ruffin, and he ran this program that they just started there at the school, a creative writing program. But they also ran a publishing house there called the Texas Review Press. So you had to intern there as part of the degree. So I just got up out of that class and left when he left and just followed him to the office and changed my major and all that. I was like, writing shit's the only thing I'm good at. So let me just try this. And at least like I'll have fun in these classes, I guess. And I did. But the thing is, like, I wrote, but I would write all this weird shit, and I didn't know where the hell it went. You know, it's nuts. And I'm like, whatever. I'm still like just rocking out. And a few years later, I was like, man, I really want this writing to do something. I really want to do something with it. And I happened to discover Jeremy Robert Johnson, the author, through reading Chuck Palahniuk's stuff. And Jeremy Robert Johnson was in the Bizarro scene then, and he had a book called Angel Dust Apocalypse that I read. And I read that book, and I was like, this is where this goes. This is where, okay, I got it now. So I could apply, like, now I had a direction. So I started to get into like the Bizarro stuff and following those presses and submitting. And then I went to my first Bizarro Con like in 2011 maybe, or 2010. And everything kind of started to click from there. I started to meet other authors. I was meeting the publishers, and I was like, oh, okay. I was navigating it a little bit more. Still just submitting tons of shit. Just like, dude, I have like an Outlook or like a spreadsheet of just like, I keep track of everything. It's like reject, like 200,000 rejects like down the thing.
Right.
But I started just to see kind of like, oh, okay, I can do this with my writing. I know where it goes now, or I can kind of mold this a little bit better. Now I had a direction. And once I found that, it was just like, go. So I started to get accepts here, a little accept there, story here. And then the dominoes just started to fall, I guess. It was like 2015, I think. I had the first book I published. That's through awesome. Like, and then just from there, like just kept going, man. But it's a lot of work, and I love it. But that's kind of how I start. It's just persistence and just keeping it up, you know. So that's how I mean, did I answer the question? I forgot.
Oh yeah. You absolutely answered the question. Like I said, I'm always curious how other authors started their writing journey, and that's a great start, man. And like I said, I've only read one thing, and but the thing that I've read, it was great. So how did you come up with the concept for Sinkhole? I loved it from the beginning to the end, and I won't reveal too much for people that haven't read it, but it was
don't feed the children. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a tight little story, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks so much. I'll circle back to something else about writing, but I'll answer this first. So Sinkhole, like I mentioned earlier, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada now, like right downtown by Fremont Street and shit. I'm a maniac. But I lived in Houston, Texas, you know, all my life. And when Hurricane Harvey hit a few years back, all the flooding, I mean, it was crazy. I actually had a sinkhole in my backyard.
Wow.
To where like my buddy Nick P, shouts out. If people know Nick, like he travels with me usually, and he would come over. We were working on these sketches every week, and he kept pointing this thing in the backyard. He's like, "Man, I think you had a sinkhole, dude." I'm like, "Nah, that's just the grass. That's the light, dude. You don't know what you're talking about." And he was like, "No, man, I'm sure." He's like, "No," and I'm like throwing like frisbees for the dogs to run in it and stuff. Like, they're fine. But dude, it just kept getting deeper and deeper. And I was like, "Fuck!" And Nick, we were just spitballing, just riffing, and he was like, dude, what if like there was like a school bus down there, that opened up? Like, what the fuck would that be about? And I was like, hold on, that's actually a pretty good idea. So I just took that idea of there being a school bus, and then that's how I kind of came up with that story. But yeah, I was like, what's happening to me? Is this Florida now? I don't understand this. But that's actually, that's how I came up with that one. So it was just a quick novella. I just like ripped through it, and then Death's Head had that.
Nice, tight, quick read, and I loved everything about it. I loved the beginning, middle, and end. It was a great story. So,
appreciate that. Thank you so much, dude. I did the narration for that one too, on Audible. If anybody is interested in hearing me narrate it,
actually, I would totally be interested in hearing that.
Okay, I'll send you a code after the show. I have like free codes for it.
Flag.
But yeah, on writing, I'd hate myself if I forgot this, but in Houston, there's this show. It's actually just now starting to come back, called Grown Up Story Time. And I wrote for that for, like 8 or 9 years, like probably. And like I have it tattooed on my finger. Where's my camera? Like Grown Up Story Time.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
And what it is it's a creative nonfiction show where you submit stories about something that happened to you, like however you want to tell it. Like, you won't believe it, man. Oh, geez. most of them are funny, you know, some of them are serious or just like about something not funny. And somebody else in the arts performs your story, like a comedian or an actor or whatever.
that's
So
cool.
they do the show like that. And I was just hammered one night and I was bopping from bar to bar, and I went to Rudyard's, which is this bar where I've played a billion shows too, and they were having this show, Grown Up Story Time. So I just walked upstairs to check it out and sat down, and it started, and I was like, that was another aha moment for me. I couldn't wait to get home to write a story after I saw that show. I was like, I got this. This is my thing. And they've published like close to 100 of my stories that they've performed. Like,
oh wow!
So that's been a huge thing for me, and a way to like every month, like I'm sculpting this kind of aspect of my writing, like, you know, to do this show. So that was a huge thing as well.
So another fun question for you, when you're writing, like, what is your process? Like, do you have music you listen to, movies? Like, what is your whole like brain center? Like, where do you get all of your inspirations at too?
Inspiration? I don't know. Like, I just get weird ideas. Like a lot of, like, actually, like I was seen on TV, we were talking about earlier. I just had that opening sentence, like type of thing. I just kind of went with it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But as far as like my process, I'm not really a huge outliner. I know like there's, you know, people talk about, you know, outlining. There's different methods. Like John Skip does his note card method. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And like, I took
yeah.
Are you? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? So there's all kinds of different methods. Like I took Skip's workshop, and I used the note card method to write Chargeland, which is one of my older books. And I was like, that's cool. Not my thing. You know, I'm not huge into like, let me put this whole outline together. However, I do note constantly as I go. So like I said, as seen on TV, I just have a sentence. I'm kind of like fucking with it. And then I'll be just like sitting around. I was doing something when I used to have a day job. I would take notes incessantly, like in my Google Keep and stuff, and be like, "Oh yeah, maybe he does this, man." Like, so I just note stuff constantly. I like to like, you know, I sit down. I do put on music sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I like to listen to Sun, or like, are you guys familiar with Sun, the band SUNN?
I'm not.
It's like just like doom, but like all tones, like deep tones, like like it's just really weird, crazy sounding shit. So I have like my stereo back here, like my Pride and Joy, and I listen to that. I listen to a lot of like Electric Wizard or
we love Electric Wizard in this house.
Oh, cool. Paul Bearer, like I love to put them on. I listen to a lot of that when I write, but then like, you know, I have like fuck ton of pop punk records and punk rock records and stuff. But I don't usually write a whole lot with music with words. Sometimes I can. Sometimes I'll throw on like Deftones and just turn it all the way up and write for a while. But usually I just like the kind of tones playing, like kind of dark stuff, you know.
Well, I'm very similar to you in that I don't really do outlines. So I take a note take like you. So pretty much it sounds like we do almost the same thing as far as
we're pantsers, dude. Seat of our pants. We're just writing by the seat of our pants.
I have a hard time with outlines. Like everybody's like, do you ever plan out your art when you're painting? I'm like, no. I just kind of have like several different ideas, and I kind of just go. Like there's never a plan. Just go.
Right. Do you like sketch it out first, or are you just like, bam?
Sometimes I do, and I feel like when I do that sometimes, or with my face painting and body paints, I end up screwing it up because I want it to be just like the drawing that I did, and then I just can't ever get it to look exactly the fucking same, and it drives me nuts. Like it is my OCD thing that I have. Like I just try not to.
Dude, your the paintings on your Instagram, like that looks badass. Like your body painting stuff you're talking about. Very cool, dude. That reminds me, like this past year at Texas Frightmare, I was there with the Death's Head Press guys, you know, Jared and Patrick. And Jared wanted to dress up as King Diamond, like cosplays King Diamond. He fucking loves King Diamond. And he called me a couple days before we left because we all went up there together. He's like, "Hey man, how are you with face paint?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'm good with face paint." I'm thinking like, I don't know, like drawing like a fucking clown nose on you or some shit. And he's like, cool. I'm gonna have you do my makeup. Dude, fucking Saturday morning, we're up. We're already like hungover from Friday. He's got white powder paint all over his face and everywhere. And then he's like, gives him these brushes and he's like, come on and paint me up. And I'm like I'm trying to look at this picture of King Diamond and like one eye squinting at it and just like, and then I'm like I'm like sitting on his lap trying to get the right angle. And man, like one side of his face looked like he was a juggalo and the other one was just like, it was pretty bad. But we eventually we got it together to look enough like King Diamond. And then he only wore it there for like 2 hours when it changed. But yeah, that stuff's hard, man.
I'm King Zirconian today.
Yeah,
it's such a big commitment though. Once you put it on, you're like, all right, so we got this going. We're just gonna have to keep going and see what happens because that's just what's happening now. Because what was I doing that one time? I think I was doing I like doing a lot of trippy art because I was a sketchbook kid, so that was my favorite thing. I used to just do those pieces of art that just never end. They just keep on going and going and going. Mm-hmm. And I did it on my face once, and he came home and he was like, "You're gonna be there for a minute, aren't you?" And I'm like,
yeah, if it's already like midnight.
It was like midnight. Like, we had to be up at 5. I was like, it's fine.
You're committed. Can't back out now.
No.
See you in 3 hours.
Matt, well, that shit's cool though. Like, there's this one woman, Lucy Fur, that goes to the conventions. Do you see her?
Why do I know her?
She like full looks like she has this whole devil cosplay that she does, where she's all fully painted.
Yes. She's awesome. Yes,
and her page, she does other things too, but she's like, her devil is badass when she's at the cons. So
I love Nosferatu. She's like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Whenever she goes to the con, I didn't see her last year. I don't think she was there.
Not here.
She's one of my
No, I think she moved.
Really? Yeah. Damn, that sucks. She was awesome.
Rest in power.
Or they. I'm not sure if they. I don't know their pronouns. Sorry.
We'll miss them.
Well, a couple years back at Days of the Dead in Atlanta, Elena gave me a small taste of what it was like to be in makeup. So she put me in some badass, scary ass clown makeup, and I signed books all day that way. So it was pretty awesome. But
it kind of had like Pogo the Clown vibes though, and then I felt bad about it, and I was like, "Fuck! Now he's gonna be selling books like Pogo the Clown. I feel bad."
Hey, it was good.
That's not like, as you know, talking to John Wayne, like that's something where I'm like, God damn it, that John Wayne guys, because we're reaching like this point, like you guys, because you guys know my first name is John Wayne, but like that's my life struggle. But we're also reaching this point where like people come to the tables and stuff, and they don't know who John Wayne the actor was. Like they just assume that I'm named after the serial killer. Yeah, it's weird, man. And then I get all
no.
Then I'll get all like have a couple drinks and like somebody will be cosplaying as Pogo and I'll be like, you know what? People are still affected by that, you asshole. Like you know, but it's my life struggle. You know, I'll take it.
Damn. I hate like kids now because they know fuck all about anything. I had somebody ask me one day, they were like, you guys burn CDs? Yeah, I did. A lot of them. The fuck? I had floppy disks too, fucker. Like, fuck.
Yeah, dude. I don't even have a CD player now, though. I have no
I kind of miss it a little, but we have our vinyl. I like our vinyl player.
Yeah, me too. That's me.
Yeah, me three. I have a vinyl player too. So
it's the most expensive hobby I think we have.
It's up there.
It's very up there.
Oh fuck yeah! I chased records for a while. Not during NOM, of course, but you know, I spent some money and time doing that.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a specific author that's one of your favorites? Are you an avid reader as well, or do you just prefer to write?
Oh no, I read all the time as well. My favorite, like one of my favorite authors is Kurt Vonnegut. Like Slaughterhouse 5 is in my top 5 books. I guess that's weird. But I love him. Brady Easton Ellis is another like one that I really love. Jack Ketchum. You know, of course, Chuck Palahniuk I mentioned, and then Jeremy Robert Johnson, who's I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Jeremy? Have you read his stuff at all?
What book did he write?
Well, yeah, his latest is called Loop. It came out like he's on like. Is
he on Goodreads?
He's on. He's on everything. He's on like a big 5 now, like publisher wise. Like that came out through a large publisher, but he's awesome. He's just like I said, he's one of the first ones I read where I was like, I got it. I see what this is all about now. So, but yeah, I read like all the time, and I do read like tons of horror. Of course, I read like my, what do you call them? Your peers or colleagues and stuff. But I try to read out of my genre as well, just like you want to read as much different things as you can. Like, especially when I was writing my splatter Western, I just devoured like Westerns for like 3 months, just watching old spaghetti Westerns, but then just like reading like all these things. Like Christopher Triana just sent me a list, and he was like, read these. And I was like, all right. So yeah, I read all the time. I love it.
I'm a nerd. My book collection. I finally ran out of space. Like, I can't even rearrange my shelves anymore. I'm like, it's better than having a drug problem, I guess. I don't do meth, so we're good there.
That's look at all my. I don't do meth, and that's just.
I just have books, okay.
I don't. Are you like you have to do? You're double stacking them in the shelves? Like,
well, I finally got to the point where like I had to turn it double stack all the way up, and then I have that, and then now I'm like stacking on two sides, have some in the middle.
It's a structural fucking nightmare. It's.
You're like you're a Tetrising to try to like I think I'll read Moby Dick. No, that's a load bearing novel. Like comes down.
My Stephen King shelf is the one that's actually like the most. I'm kind of worried about it. It's probably gonna break. It's fine.
Yeah,
Stephen King collector over here.
Yeah, there's a lot of them there. So,
yeah. His son's really good too. I don't know if you read any of Joe Hill's stuff. He's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I haven't read any of his stuff. Oh, I
think you'll like Nosferatu.
I've heard about that one. I've seen
Heart-Shaped Box.
Heart-Shaped Box.
Heart-Shaped Box. I would definitely recommend.
Yeah. Also, when I write, I do like. I'd be remiss if I forgot this. Is like I do like to smoke some weed. Well, I always am smoking weed. You guys know me. But like I'll sit down, drink some coffee, smoke a bowl while I'm writing. Some people like again, Triana is just like, I don't see how you can do anything when you're like that. I'm like, bitch, I'm a professional. But it's not for everybody. Like, it's just like some people can't listen to any kind of music. Like,
well, that's how you find your focus. That's what you do. So
also, some of the best ideas are when you're stoned. Anyway.
I can't read if there's talking or words.
Oh, I don't care. I can read anything.
Like I can read with music, but if there's words in the music, it blends into what I'm reading, and I'm already a painfully slow reader, so
yeah, sometimes that'll pull me out, like a show talking. I also can't like I could do weird things, but I can't talk on the phone and like talk to you at the same time. It like my brain just shuts down if I'm talking on the phone and somebody asks me a question. I'm like.
I'm the same fucking way. Like if I answer the phone at work, I'll be talking to a patient and somebody will walk up to me and say something. I'm like, hold on, one of you has to stop. Like I can't do the thing with the thing, and it's just too many things. Yeah. Too many things, guys.
Well, this is another writer question for you because I can't do it. And I have author friends, but quite a few author friends that can. I want to know if you can. Can you work on multiple novels at the same time? I cannot do that.
I don't recommend it. Okay. Like maybe like I've jumped like especially like as I've you kind of get a better handle on things the longer you do it. You figure out like okay, I can't do that. I would just try to write a bunch of different shit at the same time. But no, like I try not to. If I have like a long like this is my work in progress. This is my next novel. I'm not going to start another novel. However, the novel I just finished writing, I was writing something else, and I was like 32,000 words into it or whatever, and I was like, fuck this, I have a better idea, and I just started this other one. So like I still have that, but I stopped working on it. The most I'll do is like write a short story. If I have to like write a short story for something, that's different. I can split off and take care of that. Or like when I wrote for Grown Up Storytime all those years, it was like that was a monthly thing. So I knew I had to write that story every month and stuff. But yeah, longer works. I don't know. That's some people can, I guess. Not me. Not us.
Good. I was trying to find someone that couldn't do that because I can't do it. It was irritating me a little bit.
Yeah. Nah. Screw them. So what's you guys doing? You guys doing cons this year and stuff? So we're going to see each other at Days, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll see some Days of the Dead in a couple weeks for sure.
Hell yeah.
Do you ever do Dragon Con?
No, it's so big. It scares me.
Yeah.
I have the worst anxiety. That's my most stressful convention that I go to because people are like, you can just go as a normal human. I'm like, here's the thing. I have an artist brain. I want to do all of the things. I want to dress up. I want to be there. And then I'm like, I'm stressed out because there's too many panels and too many people to talk to. And then people are stopping you while you're trying to eat. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I just heard. it's like 4 or 5 hotels, right? It takes up like a lot of space down there. So, but one day I'll be at Dragon Con.
I want to do more of the horror-esque conventions because I like them. They're really small, tight-knit, and everybody gets to kind of know each other a little bit better.
I think like Confam and stuff is really pushing to get more horror at Dragon Con.
Yeah, because there's really not.
Well, it's sci-fi and fantasy, and that's kind of the focus. So, that's why you have those Days of the Dead, cons, stuff like that to really focus. Because horror is its own thing. You know, it's the horror fans are their own type of fan. And, but there's plenty of space.
We're a bunch of nicer people, though. Horror people are nicer.
Dude, that's for sure. I don't do like Comic Cons anymore because like for some reason. I don't know why you would think it would, but the Venn diagram of like comic fans and horror fans just doesn't. There's not like a lot of there because I did a Wizard World in Austin, the last one I did, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, I write horror novels," and they're like, "Yeah, well, like horror." I'm like, "Wait, what? Oh, this comic book convention is full of nerds." Just like what the hell. So, I can't do Comic Cons anymore.
Yeah, I had the same experience in Savannah 2 years ago. They had a comic convention, and I went and set up all my shit, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a small town horror author," and they were walking by me like, "Okay, whatever. Where's Spider-Man and Batman and all this other shit?" And I'm like, "Okay." So.
But people don't realize there's horror comic books out there, like Evil Eddie, fucking Purgatory. That's a badass bitch. I love her so much. Oh my god. Who else is another horror one?
Well, there's all the old Veronica novels.
Those are great.
There's a ton of horror novels.
Oh man, that movie is graphic novels. So
awesome.
It's awesome. Finally, another human being that's seen Veronica.
Yes,
I do one of the podcasts I do is called Vital Social Issues and Stuff with Chris and John Wayne with Christopher Triana, and he and I watched it for one of our podcasts. It is one of the worst movies. But he because he like says he's like, all right, if we watch this and you at the end say like, you know what, actually that wasn't too bad. Like we can't be friends anymore. You like seriously have to leave my house. It's like okay, yeah. Not good. It's like I don't think Danzig understands how a story works. Like,
but if you go back and read those comics that he did, it's the exact same thing,
but cooler.
Like he didn't change anything for the film. He just took the comic and literally made a film, even with the same like comic book shots
verbatim.
Of the people.
Where
it's almost like he just looked at the comic panel and was like, okay, that's where the camera needs to be. Stop. Well, okay, that's the next scene. Cut straight to it with no understanding of how.
There's no context. There's nothing. That lady, like Bathory or whatever esque thing, she like takes a bath in that blood for like 45 minutes of like no talking. She's just like, like what is happening here? But I still can't wait to watch the vampire movie that he's.
We're so excited because we couldn't find a theater near us to go see it at when it released.
The closest one was Athens, I think. It was like 2.5 hours.
That's too far.
Oh yeah, I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for the VOD on that one.
Because apparently he was super pissed that everybody was laughing at it. Like
I read that in an article about it that during the premiere, it's funny. It's a funny fucking, when you watch it, that all those shitty cuts are funny, and people were laughing during the premiere, and he just had like a very like, well, what's funny?
Yeah, it was like it was I know exactly what you're talking about. It was all like Danzig fans. They were packed there. He was doing the Q&A for the opening, and they're all laughing, and he's like Danzig's like, oh, what's so funny? Like he's getting all bent, and these are like they love him. The people there love him, and they still love what it is, but he got so bent by them like laughing at it, and like that's funny.
Dude,
that's
the first time we watched it. I looked at him and I was like, is that a really fucked up like bodysuit with extra arms? And I don't know what's going on. She's got eye titties. Like
the fucking eye titties.
Thing. Charles, have you seen this yet?
I have not, but I'm going.
It's on Shudder, right?
It is on Shudder.
You need to watch that.
I'll check it out.
Then get back to us because it's pretty bad.
Or you'll never want to talk to us again after. You'll be like,
either one.
Yeah.
I quit the podcast. I'm moving to Montana. Like,
you watched Mandy and
figure some things out.
Talks to me, so
we got him to watch Bliss too. So
Bliss was pretty good.
Have you watched Bliss yet?
I haven't watched Bliss. I'm not a Mandy fan.
I had a panic attack while I watched the fucking movie. I was like, no.
I just it just was like I've talked about, like I've gotten many conversations about this, but it's just like I wanted to like it. I thought I was going to like it. But then I was like, this sucks, dude. This sucks. I don't give a shit about any of these characters. It just, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. And then I was just like, fuck it. I don't want to watch. I don't like this movie. And and you have to like it. No, Trana and I fight about that a lot too.
What about, did you watch Willy's Wonderland?
I haven't watched that one yet.
That's actually really funny. I'm not a big Nick Cage person. I don't know why. I think it's his voice or the cadence he does. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. But that one was one of my favorites because he doesn't speak the entire movie. So
that's right. Yeah, perfect. He doesn't. I heard that. Yeah, he doesn't say anything. That's cool. No, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, very funny.
Well, Elena, you have a handful of John Wayne's books there.
This one because that one's your favorite.
Yeah,
Edge of the Hellmouth. Yeah, where did the inspiration for this book come from?
So like, the last day job I had that I got fired from was like this family-owned business that they made almond milk, pecan milk, and shit. Like started like with 4 of us making it 2.5 gallons at a time. So 4 years later, we were making 100 gallons at a time with 2 crews running like 18 hours a day, like that kind of shit. And there's no loyalty or anything once it gets that big. It's just all about money, and they were idiots. But it was in this freezing cold room we had to be in. So like in Mage of the Hellmouth, where he works at the ice cream plant, like that's all kind of from like working at that. Plus, Carrie, aka CV Hunt, who's the runs Grindhouse Press, she and I have talked like about this several times because she used to work in like a Nestle plant, I think, or a warehouse where she had to actually like she was in the rooms that were colder. Like the rooms that I had to produce in, like, so all day you're in like a 38-degree room or something like that. So you're all like, and then you take the product into a 32-degree cooler. So yeah, but she had to go into ones that were like -20, where they flash freeze the ice cream and shit, and you can only be in there a certain amount of time and have to come out. Like I put that in the book, but then like, so that's from that, and then the red like line and all that kind of the knots and stuff was this dude that they hired. That was he was like the plant manager that they hired. They came in, he hated me. He thought I was. Everyone said I was a witch. And he was like asking me if I was a witch one day and stuff. And I was like, fuck, dude, leave me alone, dude. Because I used to wear a hat that just had 666 on it. But he was like doing some Santeria shit. He had these like knots of like tied around his the door handles of his car with red cords. And we were like, people asked, what the fuck are those for? And he was like, oh, my daughter's tied balloons on there or some shit. Like, turns out, smash cut, we're like this one guy, we're in Houston. I was one of the only white guys that worked there. It's all Mexican dudes and me. And one of the drivers is like, dude, telling me his wife was like telling me like that's a Santeria spell. And I was like, that is. I said, that's what it is. And we looked it up, and like he was trying to ward off bad shit that was coming at him for bad shit he'd done. Smash cut to this guy is like has no wife. He has no kids. It's all a fucking lie. He's like just terrible stories, like railroading all these people. Awful man. But I like poured all of that kind of like into that. And then I was on some RPG kick too. So I was just like, hellmouth. I was really into like opening a portal to hell in some way. So The Gate is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. So I think I just was on like a Gate kick. That's then I was pissed off about this job and stuff. So I just kind of, did I answer the question? Again, this is a lot of like, I had to smoke a lot of weed this morning before.
You're up very early for us, so I'm sorry.
I'm up early every day. Like I
can totally relate to the, going to work. Cause I used to have my old coffee mug used to have the Black Craft, Hail Satan and drink coffee. And it had the Ouija board and everything. Yeah. And so these guys that I did construction with, they were just like, what the fuck is this? They're like, I'm not fucking talking to that guy. I'm not dealing with this guy. And so we go see Guar one night on a Sunday night.
Oh, shit.
So we get back from the Guar show, and this shit's just not coming off. If you've ever seen Guar, it takes a couple of days of showering to get that shit off of you. And so I'm going into work, and I've got like my hoodie on. I've got the hood up. I'm just trying to not be seen too much because I'm still just blood red and it dyed my fucking hair purple because I had fucking pomade in my hair.
We didn't know that it actually dyes your hair. So be careful there.
It would react to it that way.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So I go into work and as soon as I took my hoodie off and they just saw me, like all my skin is just blood red. They're just like, fuck that. Not talking to that guy anymore. So
didn't you say the Mexican guy was like El Diablo? El Diablo.
No. I mean, I think one guy made fun of me.
Yeah. No, that shit's great, dude. I love all that Satan shit. You know that. But yeah, people get freaked out about that stuff. But yeah, fuck that guy that I was talking about from the book. But and his fucking Santeria spells, bitch, coming at me. Like he was just scared I was going to put a spell on him and shit. Like I don't know what it was all about, but
people are so weird.
It was bizarre, man. It was nuts.
People still think I'm weird at work because I'll tell them about the shows we go to. They saw the Guar thing. They were like, "What was on that guy's waist?" And I was like, "That's a dildo. It is a dildo that squirts blood." And they were like, "What?"
It was like a four dick dildo.
Yeah, it's a 4-dick dildo that squirts blood at you. And then like, sorry, Charles, your wife is gonna kill me.
Guar is an acquired that's not a band for everybody.
No, it's not. So, but like the shows are so much fucking fun. Like I will get punched in the face to get to the front. Like I don't care. I love that show. It's the best show ever.
Put that on my tombstone. I will get punched in the face. One time, I was
actually did get punched in the face.
One of the bands I played in called Letters of Voltron. We were playing like a off South by show several years ago, like South by Southwest in Austin, and we went up there with our buddies and another band, the B Sharps, and we played our show. But then we got like to get in to see Guar free later, like after that, like, and it was in City Park, one of the parks downtown, and it. South by is like in March, I think then. So it was just like happened to get super cold, like around that time in Texas. And it was like, we're watching Guar. It's freezing fucking cold. None of us are prepared. Like it just like dropped like that, so we have like barely little baby dick hoodies on trying to stay warm, get sprayed with blood and everything. It's just so cold. And this one girl who's like a friend of a friend who took me and my band to the show. We get back to her Jeep to take us back to our room, and she can't find her keys. She's lost her keys in the pit of Guar in the park. Dude. So we track like back to the park where like everyone's like clearing out. It's dark. It's like outside dark. I've got like one of the spotlights by the stage, and I'm just like not spotlight, but like floodlight, and I'm just holding it on the fucking ground looking for these keys, and she can't find them, and then she just gets hammered because of it, and we're just like stuck in her car, and she calls, she's like, "Don't worry, I have key replacement or like insurance," and like, okay. And so she calls it and thinking that they're going to bring her a key, like I helicopter it out or something. I'm like, bitch, it's like 2 a.m. We're in the middle of fucking, what are you? And they tried to explain that to her on the phone too, but it wasn't happening. So finally we just like got a hold of somebody else who came and picked us up and took us somewhere, picked her up and took her somewhere. And then I never saw her again. I assume she passed on. No, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
She's still waiting.
She's still looking for her keys in that field somewhere, like covered in Guar blood.
The last time we went, it was fucking cold outside, and I like had on a tank top, and I got outside, and I'm like, we were in the front row. I got fucking soaked. So we hit the outside. It's like 30 degrees, and I'm like, we have to go home. It was so bad, and yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah.
But everybody at work was like, "Did you like use the new blush?" I was like, "Yeah, I fell straight in it. Like it just fell. I just couldn't get off my face."
Then all over. I'm doing an Oompa Loompa thing, just trying it. Yeah, new looks.
Also, don't wear contacts to that show. We found out it makes the kaleidoscope effect, like you're having 3D glasses on if you wear it to that show.
Oh, I take something else to create a kaleidoscope effect for me.
I can't imagine how that was on acid. That would have been great.
Everything's great on acid.
I tried. I had a bad experience.
Not for everybody. Again, not for everybody.
Well, I think they more than microdosed it. It was like one of those Sour Patch Kids. I don't know. All I know is I was trying to watch Sausage Party, and before I know it, the chainsaw is like fucking Optimus Prime. Somebody turned into a werewolf. My face melted in the mirror. I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
We should. That sounds like an idea we should collaborate on, Charles. What would you say? Wolfman fuck the mirror. What happened?
That's right.
I missed it.
Chainsaw Dick Wolfman fucks Mirror God.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I would read that.
Yeah. There we go.
There's
Patent pending, everyone. Patent pending.
There we go. Coming in 2023.
Yeah.
Coming in 2023.
Jesus Christ. When are you bringing back cards of the day to your Instagram feed?
Man, interesting. Some people have been hitting me up about that lately. And I was kind of like...
I was sitting there. I was like waiting for 10 o'clock every day. I was like, it's 10 o'clock. It's time.
Yeah, I might go ahead because it's like, that's interesting. Like even this week, several people hit me like, I sure miss when you did card of the day. So like just anybody like listening, if you don't know, I would do a tarot card of the day on my Instagram story. And you know, because I would do it like, and I would explain like what the card was and just kind of give an overview. But it was like every morning I did it, and like the way Instagram does things, it gives you like 30-second, like you get 4 30-second clips basically. So I had to keep it at like 2 minutes every time. Mm-hmm. And you know, I was doing it, and then I put it to my YouTube channel, and I was like really doing it. I did it pretty consistently for over a year, almost 2 years. But then I don't know, I got busy with a lot of shit coming out, and then like sometimes like I started noticing like people would dip out of my story and shit when the tarot readings would come up, and I was like, well, maybe people aren't into this anymore. Like, is this boring now? Like, I don't know. I'm still working on this deck, trying to get it finished. I love it, so I just would do it for myself and kind of like, I don't know, just try to change things up a little bit. But I think I should bring it back, maybe maybe like at a minute instead of 2 minutes. You know, make it a little bit more concise.
Those tarot cards are beautiful that you designed, by the way. That pack was
thank
really
you.
Pretty.
Thank you so much.
Is that why the readings used to like cut off?
Yeah.
Because they'd always, when I would go on it, I was like, okay, you're like another 30 seconds of thought left.
I was like trying to jam those things in, like, and it cut me off sometimes. I'd be like, fuck it, I can't do this again. Let's just get it, you know? So, but
I would for sure I would definitely watch a daily YouTube or whatever of an explanation of the card.
Solid.
I would watch the shit out of that.
I'm bringing it back. You guys have inspired me.
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Coming back.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Are you working on anything right now as far as writing goes?
I am, like we talked about earlier, I just finished what will be my next novel, actually. And pretty cool. Like, this was a challenge. I don't know why I did this, but I decided to write this all in second person. And just because the first sentence, like in my mind, like again, first sentence thing, like it was in second person. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with this. So every day when I you know, it was a weird brain switch, you know, kind of thing I had to do. Cause I was like, okay, you're writing like in this voice now. And if I would go back to something else, like I'm also revising a short story collection that I have. So I'd go to revise a story from that. And it's like, whoa, wait, what tense am I talking about here? You know, that talk about like a brain fuck. But like the next day I would find, you know, at least one to 4 times that I slipped out of second person and what I had written the day before. So I'd, you know, go back and keep tight on that. But that's what I just finished that. Really excited about that. And then I have that short story collection that I'm revising, trying to put the finishing touches on that. Like the Cadillac Man just came out in November, but then I think in April or May, my splatter Western comes out. From Death's Head Press. It's called All of Your Dreams Will Come True When You're Dead. And so that one's going to be cool. And and then that's what I'm working on right now, and getting this like meetings and shit to get this tarot deck out. And
well, how many stories do you have in your short story collection?
Oh man, what did I put in there? Like 15, I think, maybe.
Okay,
15,
nice.
15. Yeah, some of them have been like, you know, like published in a magazine or whatever,
right.
And I
previously
just pulled
published
some of those
works, right?
But it's probably like 65-ish%, like I would say new versus like 35%, you know, pulled from other stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fan of short story collections. I love to read them in short bites. I've written 2 short story collections myself. And if you haven't seen it, just go to valleyboypublications.com, and I may just pull a book out so you can take a look at it. Elena has done the last 2 covers, the images for those.
Oh, yeah?
And they're fantastic. So if you ever need somebody to do a book cover for you, you can look in her direction because she does a super job.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, my books are in the closet behind me, so I may
closet.
I may pull one out so you can take a look at it. I make sure I don't have anybody trapped in there before I do it.
What like one of the nights, like, like I drive everywhere across the country, like for hours, 20 hour, whatever. Like me and my buddy Nick one night, like 4 in the morning, just listened to Trapped in the Closet from like start to finish. Dude,
it's a very big commitment too.
I was riveted, like to listen to it all together, just like smoking a little, like just driving. It's like just all peaceful out at night, I
hadn't done that in years.
And R. Kelly is a voice of an angel, but he's so problematic. And it's just, God, it was great. That's just a piece.
Have any of you like recently looked up his net worth?
What is it? $2?
It's like negative $2. It's so bad. Yeah. It's so bad. I felt really bad for him. I was like, damn.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I feel that bad for him.
Yeah, I don't feel
no.
He didn't do too good of a things, but separating the art from the artist, the closet. Wow, what a time that was.
He was a good singer, so yeah, I have to give him that. But yeah, that was I remember at school we'd be like, all right, new is coming, the new one's coming.
Dude, Charles, if some like little person jumps out of that closet behind you and starts throwing books,
I'm
gonna lose my mind.
Both of them, the Midnight Rider and the
I can.
You don't mind. We're gonna get to pop-up post actually to go get the book, so you don't have to open your closet.
All right.
Oh,
well, yeah. Well, there's a ton of books in there. I don't mind opening it. Books I ordered for Days of the Dead.
What is that? Is that a Leprechaun laser disc hanging up behind you, Charles? What is that?
That is Skeletons in the Closet. It's a movie soundtrack by our good friend Tony Wash. I'll give him a plug.
Nice.
He was on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
That's a movie. That's a movie with Ellie Church, and he's on Instagram as Adam's Art Box. He's a phenomenal artist. If you haven't heard him, he's normally at Days.
Yeah, I know Adam. Adam rules.
So this is Charles' most recent novel, Midnight Rider. I just did that cover. Super horror, kind of gross.
Nice. Yeah.
That's my friend Allie. I tortured her. And then that was the other cover I did for him. This is his short story one. And then I did all the other art for each story of them.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, so that's her face on most of those images. And Dustin's got a couple pics on there.
Nice.
She made him up. But Elena does such a great job.
Yeah.
Other than us thinking that Mazeus was Mazes for.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, we did think it was Mazes for forever. And then you said Mazeus, and I was like, my whole life is a lie.
It's all right.
My life is a lie.
I know John Wayne probably gets it with his last name all the time. So.
Oh, yeah.
Did we say it right, by the way?
Oh, you guys said my name perfect.
Okay, perfect.
What's the most butchered someone's ever done your last name?
What do I get? Like, Comunale, Comunale, come on, Mylene, coming in socks, big black cocks filled with pearly white cum. But buddy Nick P, shouts out again, like, actually, like, as a prank, sent me like one day he was coming over, he's like, hey, did you get check the mail today? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you should be getting something from me soon. It's like, oh, what is it? So it turns out this bitch like just signed me up randomly for like a year of Maxim magazine and put my name as John Wayne Come In Me Now is like so. And he thought it was I thought it was hilarious too. He's like, every month they have to deliver that to you. And I was like, yeah, that is pretty funny.
For a prank. That is funny.
Yeah. It's commitment to the bit,
That's right. Right.
Yeah, people like, my last name is whatever. It looks hard. It's like a lot of letters or whatever. And you could say it a lot, but just my first name is the main thing that I just like gets me with people where I'm like, I just told you my name was John Wayne. Why did you think I'm lying? Like, it's not John, it's, whatever. I'm not playing it. Yeah. What's your real name though? So that's your middle name. So that's your stage name. So, werewolf mirror come. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's John Wayne. That's what you call me. Or, his dudeness or El Duderino. If you're not into the whole brevity thing.
I'm in my 50s, so I remember the original John Wayne with the cowboy hat and the war movies. So
get off your horse and go into the saloon.
But like you said, a lot of
Fill
folks
your
don't know who the
hands,
hell
you
he is now.
son of a bitch.
That's right.
I watched a lot of John Wayne movies growing up. There's nothing that anybody can stump me. Like, people try to like, oh yeah, well, do you know this about John Wayne? And I'm like, bitch, I know everything about my name is John Wayne. I had a John Wayne themed fucking bathroom in my dad's house. Like, give me a break, man. You're not gonna get me. Actually, but it was very cool. Like Tom Moran, who played Roy in Friday the 13th Part 5. I'm a Roy boy. I went up and like talked to him a bunch in North Carolina because I love Roy. And then he came up after he was done signing, and we talked about John Wayne movies for like an hour at my booth because he was like, well, I'm old enough to have seen this one in the theater. And, like, what's your favorite? We talked about the Cowboys, and we talked about True Grit, of course. And, so I know a lot about John Wayne stuff.
Yeah. While I did like the remake of True Grit.
I did too.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. But there's still something about that first original film that sticks out to me.
Yeah, it's great.
The other cowboy show we were watching that has Timothy Olyphant in it.
Oh, that was Deadwood.
Oh, so
Deadwood, yeah.
Yeah. I was actually not into, I wasn't going to write one of these horror westerns at first. I was very reticent to write one because I'm like, God damn it, dude. My name's John Wayne. I live in Texas. Let me just, well, let's put a hat on a hat while we're at it, like. So the first like wave, I was like, nah, I passed. I was like, I don't want to do one, guys. I'm sorry. But then I started kind of getting into westerns, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do one of these. And then that's when I was telling you, like, devoured all this like western novels and kind of like other like the spaghetti westerns and things I hadn't seen, not like outside of the John Wayne realm of westerns. So, and I got really into it and I liked it. So I was like, here's my hat on a hat for you. John Wayne, the Cowboy Book.
Yeah, I probably haven't seen as many spaghetti westerns as you, but as a kid, my dad, he showed me a lot of the old Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns. So I really appreciate those. Sergio Leone. That's some good stuff. Those things are very entertaining.
Dude. All like fistful of dollars.
It's just different.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like them. The music is.
There's a tone.
Yeah, everything. The color of them is different.
Mm-hmm. It's like giallo, like Italian horror is different, it's like that kind of thing. But it's super, super cool. Are we talking about Texas? I forgot what we were talking about.
We're just
like story of my life.
You should have like the thing about names, like
yeah.
This is me on my podcast. I ask someone a question and then I just end up talking about it for a while and then forget what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're just talking. I mean,
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm giving myself a hard time.
I think we had a whole podcast about farts the last time we had one, so it was fine. It's fine.
Okay. Well.
All right, we don't want to do that part 2, please.
No.
Next question.
Next question. Well, you're probably familiar with Art the Clown from Terrifier. Yeah. Well, that's who we talked about farts with for about 45 minutes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
He's the nicest human in the entire universe. Promise.
No, he's
so
cool.
Nice.
My buddy Rick, shouts out Rick, 13X Studios, is in Terrifier 2 as like selfie guy. And so like those dudes hang out like sometimes. So yeah, he's very cool. I'm not surprised you talked about farts though. Sounds about right.
The one person who I'm like dying to hang out with at days and like party with, I want to party with Felissa Rose so bad. She looks like she parties hard.
Dude, she's cool as shit. I'm sure you could talk to her in Atlanta like afterwards.
Well, the last time we talked to her for like 2 hours, and then I forgot to pay, and I went back to pay, and she was like, "No, you're not," and I was like, "Yes, I am." She goes, "No, just you're fine." I was like, "No."
No, she's very, very nice and always like super cool. So I'm appreciative because sometimes people aren't. You find out some people. I don't even fucking care to meet anybody. Unless it's organically, I don't really want to go. That's just whatever. But the people I've met, I've been fortunate to, they've been pretty cool with the exception of a few, but she's great. Yeah.
Do you have any of the few that you want to talk about on or off camera?
that suck. maybe off camera.
Okay.
No, Elena. As a matter of fact, when Elena said she booked you, I wasn't sure who you were when she told me.
Uh-huh.
And then I've told her we were sitting next to.
And I said, I was thinking in my brain, I hope it's not that douchebag I can't stand. I really hope it's not that guy. And then I found out it was you. I said, oh God, thank you. Thank you.
Who was it? Who's the douchebag you came? Off camera. Okay. Good.
But I was going to roll with it. If Elena booked him, I was going to roll with it. I was like, okay.
I don't know if I could do like it would be really hard.
That'd be difficult.
That would be very hard because he seems awkward. Like not in like the weird like don't know what to do with my hands awkward, but like he does some weird shit at home. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah.
I digress. So
interesting. And you must now subscribe to the Patreon, everyone, to get the hot goss.
The shit talking off.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Well, it's and that's that's the dynamic at conventions. Just as like that. Sometimes some people are just tone deaf and don't get what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
But I do I love being by cool people like y'all and it's you meet so many awesome people as long as you're just cool and shit and
Well, they're the nicest people ever, man. My readership has grown. I've got a small following, but they're dedicated, and a lot of them came from that convention. And I love meeting everybody there. They're, for the most part, 99% of them are awesome people, and a lot of them are friends now. So I love going to those things.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. There's like the first the Atlanta Days of the Dead was like the first one I vended at like 4 years ago, maybe, I guess 3.5 years ago or something like that.
Like me. Yeah, about like
me.
And
there's people that I met there that come back to see me every single year.
Yep.
Since I've been like these kids that I met, this aunt and uncle bring their niece and nephew, Kira and Anthony, to see me every fucking year. And like these kids own all my books. They read. Kira, like she's learning guitar. I bring her back to the booth. Like she plays guitar and shit. She wants to be a singer. Like I love that. So that shit's the most important thing to me. It's just like I was that kid on the other side of the table. I'm gonna, make this a good experience for them because that makes a difference. And I don't give a shit if you read my stuff or whatever. Just I'm gonna leave a good impression. Read, and I'm gonna give you the attention because it's. I was that kid, so
$1,000,000% agree. That's how I met those two sitting there.
Right.
Yeah. They walked up to a table and was 2018. Was it 18?
Yes.
Yeah. They walked up dressed up in their makeup, and I was like, "Oh, that is cool as shit. I want to talk to these people." So
I hate that look now. Every time I go back, because you met us as the demon one, I made the horns. I was like, "Oh, that was kind of cringy," but it's all right. I'd like to redo that.
It looked good to me. We struck up a conversation. She bought a couple of books, and then we've been friends ever since. So
yeah.
And then I told my friends, and their friends told their friends.
That's how it happens.
Their other friends.
Yeah.
You do a lot of different cons. What's like the just strangest interaction you've had with somebody that comes up to the table?
Well, let's see.
Sorry, someone has started up a motorcycle, and if you heard that, I apologize.
So you do meet a lot of different interesting people. Now, there's some people that just like, they come up and they're talking, and I have a lot of patience just for talking to people because I like to talk to people. But sometimes you're like, okay, buddy, let's move along. I'm you need to go. But so those things are fine. But some of like the weird interactions that I've had are probably just like the people I've met. I haven't had anybody do anything overtly crazy. Well, okay. So when we were at that Comic-Con I was telling you about, that I was there with Max Booth III and Lucas Mangum, two other authors, Texas boys. We were there, and when we realized like this sucks, no one even wants us to be here, we started to fuck with everybody. That was it. Everybody's in cosplay, so no matter what you were dressed as, you walk by us, you were Batman. What's up? Oh, Batman. Oh, shit, dude. Superman, Batman. Oh, like Red Riding Hood, like we were just, and like people were not having it at all. Like this dude stopped in front of me and I was like, dude, Tactical Batman. And he's just like, I don't know what he was. He had a helmet on and the guns and stuff. And he stands there and he takes the guns out. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, this is my favorite Batman. And he points the guns at me and just like that. And I was like, I love it. I love it. And he takes his helmet off. He's like, Tactical Batman? Really? Fuck you, man. And I was like, thank you. Come again. But I've met some cool ass people, like just interesting people. Where I met this person in Vegas, and this woman like struck up a conversation with me, and she's cool. She's hanging out at the booth. She brings me a beer. We're talking. I'm like, why is this woman so familiar? Porno. And I was like, oh yeah, that's where I know you from. So I was like, oh wow, and now she's my friend. So like,
there you go.
Meet like a lot of interesting people like that. But I haven't had anybody try to fight me or anything yet. I've tried to fight a couple of people, but not,
solid.
Yeah. Sometimes, you got to lay it down.
The weirdest interaction we had once, we were at Decon. It was on a Sunday, and I had like this weird ass idea. It's very common anyway. We dressed up like demons. We were just the devil for Sunday. Mm-hmm. And this one little kid comes up to us, and she's like, what, 5, 6 years old? And I remember that. She was like, Mommy, can I take a picture? I'm like, I am Satan right now. You really want to take a picture? She's got these cute little butterfly wings. Her mom lets her take a picture of the psychos. I was like, cool. Then there's a guy who comes up. It starts getting Decon after dark time, and we're sitting at the spot just drinking. Mm-hmm. This guy comes up. He was like, you guys big fans of Satan? I love Satan. And I was like,
well, no, this guy was like, he looked like fucking Pan. I mean, he had like these awesome whiteout contacts, long hair. He had the long nails. He's very like flowing through the crowd like a fucking ethereal ghost. And he's just like, you guys like Satan? And we're like, what the fuck is going on?
You heard the good news about Satan? I was at last year at what is it? It's in Nashville. Tattoo and Horror. Full moon.
Oh, full moon.
Full moon. Like on the Sunday morning, it opens, and this, these people are walking by, these parents, they have their kid that they're pulling this adorable young girl in this wagon, and they're all, I forget what they're dressed up as. And they're coming by the booth, and the little girl looks up at me and she says, "Are you a monster?" And I said, "Me? No." She said, "Where are the monsters?" And I said, "Well, if I had to guess, I would say under your bed." And everyone's like, "What the fuck, dude? You can't tell that little girl there's monsters." I was like, "What? She's at a horror convention." So, better she learned from us than on the streets. So
that's right.
Just true. Right. Just like that one lady who got mad at the horror convention because some guy.
I never got maybe you got the full story on that.
Which
this
one?
Woman came at, it was Days of the Dead Atlanta.
I will not name the booth.
And she comes in and she is freaking out because somebody has revved a chainsaw near somebody and given them a panic attack.
It was a prop, by the way.
It was a prop. I mean, it wasn't a real chainsaw. And it was like a big deal. Like there was a lot of people.
Really?
They were like yelling at the person with the chainsaw. They were like, you can't be out here doing that to people. Like people have real problems and like you're causing her to have a panic attack. And everybody's like, it's a horror convention. The fuck? Like, what did you expect? Like, I was like, they weren't chasing anybody. It was just really
well. We don't know that. We don't know how if the person was being an asshole or not. But we just saw the after conversation. But it was just an odd interaction. We're like, that's a weird thing to say.
I didn't know what happened with that. Damn. It doesn't surprise me though.
Maybe one day we'll get to this.
I hope so. I actually was really not. I was like, Scooby-Doo? What?
Scooby-Doo. All right. Well, Elena, do you have any other questions for John?
What's your favorite horror movie?
That's a good one.
Well, I have The Gate, as I mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
Yeah, that is a classic. That's a classic.
Just captured my imagination as a kid. These, like, in 1987, these kids, like, play a metal record backwards, open a portal to hell in their backyard, think they close it, end up they don't close it, and all hell breaks loose, literally. But there's one scene that just, like, always stuck in my head was, like, when the demons are all, like, out there doing like their house and shit. The kid looks at his hand and there's an eyeball in his hand and he stabs it with a pencil and shit. So like I have this like flying hand with an eyeball tattooed like right here.
That's super cool.
That's pretty cool.
Because of that movie, like that movie is always like, I love that. So that's
shout out to your hand tattoo.
Shout out.
Whoever did your hand tattoo is awesome. That's
yeah, Sean Oz. Shouts out. He's probably like tattooed me for like 19 years. Almost everything I have, he did. So it's cool.
Where is he at?
He is now in Denver, or outside of Denver. I think like in like maybe his town is called Santa Fe or something out there in Colorado. It's like a ski town. Like he opened a shop out there and he did snowboards and stuff, and just like he's living it up. He's an amazing artist. So
every time I find a good artist, they either retire or have to find a new one. And now I'm stuck right now because I have a horror leg I started, and then the artist moved to a different shop, and I just like, ugh.
Yeah, he started my back right before he moved, so he's got quite a few sessions to do on that. But then my friend Dana in Houston, shouts out Dana, she tattoos me. She done my neck, and she did my abortogram, and she's done a few pieces on me as well. So
Sweet.
Nice. Well, John Wayne, we had a great time with you today on the show.
Thanks,
so
man.
I want to give you an opportunity to let everyone know where they can find your stuff, where they can follow you, anything you want to shout out, the point where our listeners can find John Wayne Comunale.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to johnwayneisdead.com for like all your needs and wants and catch-alls. Oh, the dog is going crazy over there. You can follow me on everything at John Wayne is Dead. I have a Patreon that also has a podcast that comes out every Wednesday on the Patreon called the Awesome Dude for Life Boner Bonus Podcast, where I talk to artists that I meet on the road. And that's 97 episodes of that. I do another podcast every Monday called John Wayne Lied to You, Stories of My Life. Check that out every Monday. And then Vital Social Issues and Stuff with Chris and John Wayne with my buddy Christopher Triana, that comes out every Thursday. And then check out my books, baby.
Awesome. And John Wayne, I will post links to all of your sites.
Cool.
You just make sure you pass those over to me. I'll make sure those are on our YouTube feed and the podcast feed, so everyone can just click it and get there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. This is great. We got to do it again. I got to have you guys on my podcast.
I would love to.
Well, we would definitely love to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's set it up. Thanks, guys.
We will set it up.
Cool.
All right, Elena, where can we find your wonderful stuff?
I am JukeboxBaby78 on Instagram as well as TikTok, doing all of the crazy, stupid things that TikTok does. You can find all of my makeup and body painting there. I am also Elena Marie on Facebook if you want to interact or ask me about any makeup questions or want to book something with me. And that is where I am at.
And I am Charles Campbell, your local small town horror author. You can find me on Facebook as Charles Campbell Author. You can find me on Instagram under the same thing. And my website is valleyboypublications.com, where you can find links to all of our cool books and links to the podcast. So that's what I have out there. So thank you guys for listening today. I want to thank John Wayne again. Thank our beautiful co-host, Dustin, for being on the show with us today.
And you can find me at Don't Fucking Look For Me, because I don't post anything and it's useless.
Hold on. I'm writing that down. What is it now? Don't fucking.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Horror 421, the podcast. And John Wayne's episode will premiere in April. So thank you so much, John Wayne, for being on again.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Guys.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
We hope you had a horrific time, lovelies. Thank you for tuning in to Horror 421, the podcast. Be sure to like us on YouTube and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.